Saves the Day. And I love the way that she has structured her brand across YouTube. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but also about cool things on YouTube like YouTube Shorts. So Shelly, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to this audience.
All right. Hi, everyone. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Shelly Saves the Day. And on there, we talk how to do YouTube and we talk about video editing. So those are kind of the main pillars that I have over there, just because I think there's so much need for video education. And I feel like there's a need to learn how to edit, sometimes also from a female perspective. So I like to provide that so it makes it less scary for anyone to jump in, and then actually breaking down YouTube and actually explaining it simply for people so they don't have to be scared of it.
And I think that's so great that you said being a female editor on YouTube. I know I'm one of the rare female folks on LinkedIn who actually edits her own videos too. So it is really, really nice to see women jumping in and doing these more technical back-end jobs as well. But let's talk really quickly. We were just chatting right before this, and you were mentioning YouTube Shorts. I'll be totally honest, I do not know a ton about it, but it is really interesting to think about how vertical video is currently having its heyday right now across all platforms, right? So I'd love to hear your perspective on vertical videos plus YouTube plus any other places that you think vertical video is interesting on.
Okay, so two important things that you're mentioning here. First of all is vertical video. I am in love with vertical video because for so many reasons, it's the easiest to repurpose. It's available on every platform. There's all kinds of data that shows that it converts at higher rates. It's costs less to acquire customers and attention. I mean, it's just amazing. And so I even have another YouTube channel that is dedicated specifically to vertical video. It's called Vertical Video Vixen. Every single tutorial is all vertical as well. Like I see it becoming a big thing. And now with YouTube Shorts, because you said you don't know a lot about it, I'm going to give you a quick 411, and then anyone who has any questions on it, feel free to toss them at me. So YouTube Shorts is kind of like a response to Instagram Reels and TikTok. So it's currently in beta, available in India first. It's now coming out to the United States and other marketplaces a little bit more slowly, although in their blog, which you can subscribe to, they have one specifically about YouTube Shorts. They are saying that it should be rolling out to more people throughout March. So it's really exciting. So the way that YouTube Shorts works for now, until you have the in-camera app experience similar to what you would see like when you're creating a TikTok or Reels, it's going to be, you can still upload a video, and it's going to be a 9:16, so a vertical tall video, and it's going to be under 60 seconds. And then you can use hashtag shorts in the title or the description, and that will help YouTube identify that it is actually meant to be a short video and hope that it will be put into what they call the shorts shelf. So you may notice when you're browsing, you see sometimes a horizontal row of vertical videos and it says like stories. And there's another one that actually says short videos. So that's kind of that shorts shelf. I don't know if you've seen it. You only see it on mobile though. And then one other thing I would recommend, anyone who has a YouTube channel, you can go to your main channel page. Under your customization for your channel, you can actually create the playlist for shorts. And actually, I would move it towards the top. And you have to do that on desktop because it's viewable only on mobile. You'll only see that when you go to mobile. So when someone goes to your channel, they'll be shown a horizontal row of vertical like videos if you've created shorts, and then you can scroll through and see the rest of your playlist. So you don't see it on desktop, but you see it on mobile. So I would encourage anyone to set that up as just an inside hint.
Amazing. And thank you for everyone who has jumped in on this live and is here to learn, as I am literally learning alongside you guys as well about YouTube Shorts. So of course, I like to always...
It's the big buzzword right now. Every time you're in like Clubhouse or anywhere online, people are like, what are shorts? Let's talk about shorts. And I'm like, okay. Because it is exciting and it's interesting.
So can people apply to get into shorts, or?
You don't have to apply at all. Anyone is eligible to do it. You can upload the video like through your phone or on desktop, just like normal. And just do, like I said, the criteria, make sure it's vertical, make sure it's under 60 seconds. If it's over 60 seconds, you can still watch it in vertical. It just won't be considered for the shorts shelf.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So under 60 seconds, vertical, anyone can do it. as of right now.
As of right now. And they have the in-camera app experience, which is rolling out more. Like I said, when you upload through the app experience, the videos are limited to 15 seconds. You have limited options for what you can do. You can change the speed a little bit. You can add some text. And the nice thing is you can actually add music, like copywritten music, like popular music. So that could be a benefit for why you'd want to do it, because it's 15 seconds. So it's one reason to do it, but I think a lot of people will probably end up creating it outside of the app and then just uploading an existing video. Now, when you're in the app, you have limited options what you can do, but then if you go to your desktop version in your YouTube studio, you could still do things like turn on monetization, because they're a little bit fuzzy about how this works, but if someone comes to your channel and they view the video from there, that can count towards a monetized playback. If they come across it in the shorts shelf, those do not count towards monetization because they do not serve ads on it. Also, I would recommend to everyone go onto desktop and upload a regular 16:9 widescreen type of thumbnail so you can keep your aesthetic on your channel. But when it shows up in the shorts shelf, it's going to be a randomly chosen frame that YouTube is going to pick.
Interesting. I always like, and by I always like, I mean, it's always scary to see a randomly chosen frame.
Yeah, it's always like you mid-sentence being like,
I know. It's always the weird.
Yep. And you're like, really? That's the one? That's your best? All right.
So that's so interesting. So shorts shelf. So I'd love to hear, have you gotten any of your shorts onto the short shelf?
Yes, you can actually see in your analytics when it hits. And don't be surprised if it takes, 4 or 5 days for it to actually end up hitting that, because in your analytics for traffic sources, there is a source that says shorts, and all of a sudden you'll see a huge spike in views. So it could be anywhere from like you got 30 views and then all of a sudden you got 10,000 views, and then it kind of drops off immediately. And then you're like, okay, that's when it hit the shorts shelf. So it's like pretty obvious when that happens. And then you see that most of your traffic came from that. So yes.
Oh, that's super interesting. So we actually got a question that you literally just answered, but I'll show it again. Good day from LA. How does monetization work differently for YouTube Shorts versus other YouTube videos? I'll just have you do the quick recap once again.
No, that's fine. That's a great question. And it's very confusing for people because they're saying, almost like talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're saying, hey, we're not going to serve ads on it. But then people are like, yeah, but I can turn on monetization and still get money. So what's up with that? So if it's going to be uploaded and it's not inside of the shorts shelf and people are just coming to your channel and viewing it, that is a monetizable view. But if it is appearing in the shorts shelf or people are just browsing, those do not count. And then also more confusing, if the watch time comes from it being in the shorts shelf, that watch time does not accumulate towards your 4,000 hours of watch time to get monetized, but your subscribers count. Yeah, it's very all over the place. It's confusing. I totally understand. I believe that maybe once they roll out more information, at some point they'll probably look at trying to do some sort of monetization on it, but it's just, that's kind of where we're at now. So come to your channel page and view it. Yes, counts. Come to the short shelf, come across it and browse. No.
So these are all interesting ways to certainly think about monetization of both shorts and regular videos on your YouTube channel. Of course, there's other ways to monetize as well, aside from YouTube's internal monetization structures, right?
Absolutely. I advise people to always think of the AdSense as dessert, but not an entree, because there's so many other ways to monetize. Like, it's such a small portion that, yeah, I would always advise.
This is a great time to completely interrupt Shelly and say that we are both sponsored by Restream. So check it out, guys, restream.io/join/Goldie. This is my link. If you are interested in live streaming like we are right now across multiple platforms, you can invite up to 10 guests at a time, which is super neat. Check out this link. I'll try to also drop it on LinkedIn and on Twitter as well. But thank you to Restream. You're an amazing sponsor. I'm going to go ahead and hide that now.
No,
But
I love
yes,
it. In fact,
getting
I have a live show on Tuesdays, and we go live from the Restream studio and push out to Amazon, and like it's so easy to bring in a guest and like read all the comments and aggregate everything. Like it's just so good. They make it so easy, so I love it too.
So if in case you're wondering how I'm able to do this super easily, like this comment from Justin, it's because I am doing this all myself right now, live, putting your comments live on air. Shelly, I would love to talk a little bit about your brand and how you've grown a presence on YouTube. Once again, I'll be totally honest, not a platform that I'm incredibly familiar with, which is why I think this is so fun for me to learn alongside everyone else. In fact, for those of you out there that don't know, and I think very few people probably do, I think, Shelly, the first time that we met in person, it might be the only time that we've ever seen each other in person, was at the YouTube studio in Los Angeles.
I think I saw you at a vid summit.
Ah.
And I recognized your hair and the wing eyeliner. I'm like, "Wow, she's so cool." And I remember I met you, or I didn't meet you officially. I just kind of watched you walk by and be like, "Oh, cool." And then, yeah, the first time we ever got to meet was at the YouTube space.
The first
It was
time
so
we had
great.
a meaningful sit
Yes,
down,
interaction.
literally sit down interaction and conversation was at the YouTube space
That was
in
such a fun
LA.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a fun day. I don't know about you, Shelly, but I certainly miss in-person shoots.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
a special energy that comes when you, and especially that shoot, because, and I'm really sad I never got to, I don't think the video ever got completed, but
Aw.
basically it was a bunch of powerhouse women all coming together to talk to each other about, you know, video education and just like using video. It was amazing. And so it was just very, like, it totally filled my energy juice bucket up again just to be around everyone and hear them talk about their experiences.
Yeah, it's so fun to be on those in-person panels where you get to hear, once again, how other people are building their presence and building their brands on other platforms. As most of you who are watching this know, my presence primarily lives on LinkedIn and now Twitter and a little bit on Instagram. But it's so fun for me to hear about other platforms where people have grown pretty exclusively most of their audience. And I think it's so magical when somebody has built up an audience on their individual platforms. But let's get back into that. Why YouTube? What made you choose YouTube, or were you trying out a bunch of different platforms? How did you
Oh,
decide on YouTube?
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think I was telling you before, but I was going to audition for this dance team.
Mhm.
And the coach at the time kind of did a once and down look at me, and they're like, "You don't really know how to do makeup. You should really go to the Mac counter and have someone teach you, because this is not going to work." And I was like, "Okay,
So
thank
me.
you." I know. So I did, and then they sent me home with these products, and I remember going onto YouTube that night and looking up. It was the first time I discovered like makeup tutorials, because
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I have these products. What do I do with them? I had taken photos, trying to like remember the look, and then be like, how do I do this for myself? Because I was gonna have to go to this audition and do it, and so I really fell down the rabbit hole of beauty YouTube at the time. And then after a while, I discovered all of the people who do these subscription box unboxings of makeup. So Ipsy, BoxyCharm, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I was like, I could do this. I could do this, because I can't tell someone how to do an awesome wing like you have, but I certainly have an opinion about what came, because I was already signed up for these services. I was like, I could certainly open up my box on camera and like give some opinions on it. So I decided to start as a beauty channel, and then I
Mm.
eventually pivoted into what I am now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that you started as a beauty channel and you've decided to make that transition. I think that's where people get stuck a lot, right?
Yeah.
They start
Especially if
in
you're a
one
girl.
space.
A lot of the
Yeah.
time they think you can be a cooking channel, you can be a DIY channel, you can be a crafting channel, and you can do makeup. And like sometimes you get put in this box of like, those are the only things we're really comfortable having women talk about, or you think that's the only thing that people are comfortable having a woman talk about on YouTube. And so it became a thing. I had a beauty channel, even with a friend, for a while. And then after a while, I was like, I'm tired of this. I want to talk about the camera I'm using or how to do video editing or, the lighting setup. And I want to encourage other people to be able to making content. And even if that falls in the realm of how do you shoot and make videos like a beauty YouTuber, because that was my introduction into how can I convince
I
more
mean,
women
this
this
is
is cool.
truly why. Shout out to your lighting right now. It is lovely.
Thank you. But I decided that I was going to make this switch. And so my friend and I, we ended up breaking up our channel and I became Shelly Saves the Day and she went off to do like skincare and makeup stuff. And so that's just kind of it evolved. And I think that I would always advise to anyone, just because you decide on anything, it doesn't mean you can't change your brand or your stuff over time into something you're more familiar with. So I would encourage everyone to play.
Sometimes your tastes and your interests just change, right?
Yeah, or like the more you do it, it's like revealed to you what either your superpower is or what you're super passionate about. And so if you're lucky enough to kind of find out what that is, then you can just kind of pivot and be like, this is what I'm doing now.
Amazing. So we got this question from Kendra. I'll start uploading videos on YouTube soon. This discussion is helping me a lot. So let's give her some, and by let's, I mean, Shelly, you, give her some YouTube pro tips for somebody who's literally starting a YouTube channel tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, I went on. So I do a live stream show on Thursdays, and it's called Triple T Thursday Tips, Tricks, Tutorials. And we talk either about live streaming, we talk about like YouTube stuff. And one of the things that I was talking about, I was actually ranting about maybe last week or something like that. I'm like, stop listening to YouTube gurus because like I think everyone falls into this trap where it's like before we launch our channel, we want everything to be perfect. And let me just dispel the notion nothing will ever be perfect, because I did the same. I watched 400 hours or whatever of like Sean and Benji and, all of the people, Roberto Blake, and I made a video and it's like probably the worst thing you've ever seen. But at the time I was like, yes, I've done all the things.
It checked all the boxes.
Right? It checks the boxes. And now you're like, I would never, but you never get to the point now where you're like, oh my gosh, that's so not good, until you're, a couple hundred videos in. And then you're like, okay, I've learned a thing or two. But the thing is, people at the beginning are always held hostage by it needs to be perfect. So the advice I would always give is like, get started sooner than you're ready, because ready is not this like destination. It's just a decision that you make, and you just have to make it for yourself and be like, today's the day, or give yourself a deadline and be like, this Saturday is my first video, and like just get it out there. Even if it's ugly, even if it's like the bluest lighting or the worst sound you've ever seen, it's better to have the video out and be done and get better on the next one than to sit and build a perfect plan for 2 years from now that never materializes.
Amazing. So I think that's really great first time YouTuber advice. In fact, I think that's kind of true for most platforms. So I'm just getting started on TikTok.
I know, I saw you.
My account is a week old, maybe a week and a half old.
I saw you post. You're like, I did it.
I was like, guys, I've been harassed truly to create a TikTok for years now. So this is how you can be late in the game. I'm doing this in air quotes, but you can get started anytime. And let me tell you, I have some what I consider really cute edited videos that I've done for Instagram Reels. I put on TikTok and they do so terribly. And then I have this one video of me literally biting an apple. It's just the sound of the apple bite, and it's doing so fantastically well on this one channel, because that's what people on TikTok apparently want to see. So platform by platform too, content is
changes. Yeah. And so I always encourage people, one, that's why I love vertical, because you can take that and experiment on Reels, experiment on YouTube Shorts, experiment with LinkedIn, Pinterest videos now and the Pinterest stories.
Yep.
What's crazy is I started putting just a couple of random things on Pinterest, and I went from 2,000 views in a month to 10,000, and I'm not even done with the month. Like it's crazy. I put the same video.
Yeah, I definitely want to shout out Pinterest, which I believe Pinterest stories, is it available to the public? I should know this.
It is like slowly rolling out.
It's slowly rolling out.
Yeah, I think it said like early access.
If you are in the Pinterest stories beta, make sure you check it out because currently I believe that if you do those, you can
they
get
might be pushing
more
them and featuring them.
Yeah, they might be pushing them a little bit and featuring them. So
I've never had that many views on like Pinterest in a month. Like I think my top is like 5,600 views in a month, and I'm like at 10,000 from posting a few of these Pinterest that I was already going to post already on Instagram Reels. But it's interesting because 7,000 views on Pinterest stories, 1,500 views on Instagram Reels, 150 views on TikTok. So you just don't know what's going to hit on any platform. So like I have a video that's 11,000 views on Instagram Reels, but a couple hundred views on TikTok. So that's why I love vertical video. Just put it everywhere and see what happens.
I'm also such a fan of vertical video. So I'm so glad we're having a vertical video love fest is what I will call this.
I've done several talks about vertical video, and afterwards when people are like, I didn't realize that. And I'm like, I know, like everyone needs to know. Like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And I think you're so right with trying out vertical video on different platforms, but also you may have different audiences on different platforms. So for example, my Apple Bite video, to be totally honest, I'll put it on Instagram Reels, I'll put it on TikTok, but I wouldn't put it on my LinkedIn stories.
Yeah.
Right. So it really depends, but I might put it on YouTube
on the
because
stories or the LinkedIn stories, but maybe not like a feed post.
Definitely not a feed post, at least for me, because I don't work in food. I don't typically talk about, although I love food, obviously, I don't typically talk about that content there. So it's also helpful to know just who your audience is on different platforms. Now, you might be amazing like Shelly and have the same audience on different platforms, in which case then you can distribute really similar content. Or you might be like me and have really different audiences on different platforms. My Twitter audience is honestly vastly different than my LinkedIn audience. So I have to be really thoughtful about the content that I put on those two different platforms.
Yeah. And I think it's really good that you're able to identify like who's watching you, who your ideal viewer is, and how you speak to them. Because a lot of people, you can see that they've never done any of that kind of meticulous either research or gotten that feedback loop mechanism in place where, they realize maybe this is not the place to post the twerking video, like, and it's like, oh, it's LinkedIn. It's not like, Reddit.
Yeah. So since we are talking about LinkedIn and one of the streams is live on LinkedIn, this is a great time to talk about appropriateness per platform. So on some platforms, that twerking video would be, in fact, on TikTok, obviously, that video would be amazing, completely, in fact, almost boring on that platform because we see so much of that. But on LinkedIn, perhaps you don't want your boss or your potential employer or potential clients to see that video. So just be thoughtful about your audiences, like Shelly said.
Unless you teach twerking aerobics or something.
Yes, unless you teach it for a living.
Yeah, I could see that. In fact, I know some people who teach twerking and pull. And that's mainly what they post on all their platforms. I mean,
and
that
absolutely makes sense. I think if it has to do, I think the golden rule with LinkedIn is if it has to do with your work or your business interests, then it is generally okay to post it onto LinkedIn. But when you're thinking about personal interests, that's much better suited for other platforms.
For sure.
For sure. So let's end this stream. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop in this really sweet comment that we got.
Oh, thanks, Petey.
Oh, and also let's show this one really quickly.
I love that. I mean, it's exactly right. It bizarrely makes sense. That is absolutely correct.
It bizarrely makes sense. And I think that's true of so much of thinking about content creation on different platforms, and especially, I'm sure, content creation on YouTube. Do you have any last pieces of advice for maybe even thinking about making your first vertical video on YouTube? What are some subjects that people should dive into or that are interesting?
I think that people make more vertical videos than they think. So whether that's Instagram stories, or they're making duo calls, they're doing FaceTime calls. So you're actually really comfortable already with vertical. You just don't even know it, because there's actually reports that show, like from the Mover, which is the mobile overview usage statistics. I mess that up every time. There's one word in there I always get wrong, from Scientia Mobile, that shows that basically even 70% of the time when people are on mobile sites, they hold their phone in vertical. So if you want to capture people's attention, do a vertical video. And actually, like 90% of the time when a person has a phone in their hand, they're holding it in a vertical orientation. So if you think about that across all of the different platforms, if you can be vertical and keep people from scrolling, it's amazing. And some items just look better in vertical. Like, how are you going to do a Swell water bottle or the Empire State Building or whatever, and like really like pan up in sometimes like a landscape type of thing. So I would just say it doesn't have to be long. And if one thing that is coming from YouTube Shorts or Reels or anything, it's about how to be engaging and have it be like quicker, because people's attention spans are a lot shorter than they used to be. So I think people are really stressing on like these long drawn out videos, and it'd be like, YouTube Shorts is coming at a perfect time because people are saying, give us short form content. And it's really easy to make short form content because most of the time people can just do it on their cell phone, which they have on them all the time. And it brings a level of fun back into creating video. So I would just say, like, shoot more than you think you ever need. Just start stitching stuff together, even if it's photos, live photos that you convert to videos, whatever. And you can use the tools on the platform. They make it easy to actually, if you haven't seen it, you can put 4 or 5 pictures into TikTok. It will do all these transitions, and you can add music automatically, and you have a video. Like the whole thing, just like YouTube, is stop overthinking it and making it overly complicated. Just start putting stuff out there.
And I always, always, always think about polished versus unpolished video. Now, of course, I'm honestly used to seeing really, really polished videos on YouTube, just like beautiful, high production. You can see the pore within the pore on somebody's face. That's not something, by the way, I'm clearly not a beauty blogger, guys. Do not listen to any beauty blogging advice that I get. But you can just see the high definition. And I think it's so fun if YouTube migrates to a place where you can have unpolished content again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would just always encourage people, like, we make it harder. Like, we judge ourselves harder than other people. And the more that you do it, the better you get at it. Doesn't matter what it is, you know, if it's public speaking, if it's making YouTube videos, if it's editing or seeing yourself back on camera. You just have to decide that you're ready and just start doing it. And then once you have a video, you have a starting point, and then you can try to improve on that. Or, you know, and then 30 videos down the line, you're like, wow, I'm a lot faster. I'm a lot better than I ever used to be. But you can't get to video 30 without video 1. And I just feel like a lot of people are waiting on video 1 because they think it has to be polished and perfect and all of these things. And it doesn't. It just has to be published.
And I think some people are like, I want to make 30 videos in a row to start, like in a bulk. And I think it's really nice to start by spacing out and doing one at a time when you're first starting out, so you can learn from your growing audience and you can learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. And you can also publish videos and just leave them as unlisted, only share them with friends, and just like flex that muscle of actually creating and learning how to do the upload and going through the process. And then when you're ready, you could, you know, start to make them public or just have new ones. And I just feel like people are so in their heads about everything, and they just really have to like let go of that and just like start having some fun.
Yes, I definitely think we overthink as a society many, many things. Look at this sweet message from Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.
It is awesome advice indeed from Shelly Saves the Day. In fact, go follow her right now on YouTube. Her channel is amazing. And make sure that you learn some really cool tips and tricks about YouTube and about editing and all of the things that she covers in her channel. Of course, follow her on every social channel. In fact, this is a great time for me to throw it over to you and say, where can people find you on the internet?
So for me, you can find me on YouTube under Shelly Saves the Day. It's the same on Instagram. Now, Twitter, because of character limits, it's Shelly Saves the, because if I added one more letter, it was Shelly Saves the D, and I just wasn't prepared for like, that for that. So it's Shelly Saves the on Twitter, but everywhere else, Shelly Saves the Day, including TikTok, which I love TikTok, and I'm gonna find you and stalk you over there.
Yes, please do. In fact, for all of my amazing viewers, I'm Goldie Cylon, GoldieCylon, because of course, every other iteration of Goldie was already taken, but you can find me there on TikTok. It has videos that have nothing to do with branding, although I will be soon releasing videos that do have something to do with branding, so stay tuned. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Thank you, Shelly, for being an amazing guest. In fact, I will be joining Shelly on her stream on Thursday. On Thursday. Yeah, I was like, I'm double checking that I'm saying the right thing. Yes, on Thursday, I will be joining her on her stream. So please tune in over there where we will be talking more fun and I'm sure more branding. Bye, everyone.
Bye.